Red Bull is facing one of its most critical turning points yet. Shocking exits, bold upgrades, and a title fight slipping away. Something big is brewing behind the scenes. Let's dive in. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has confirmed that Max Verstappen will receive crucial upgrades to his RB21 at the upcoming Belgian Grand Prix. Potential game changers in the race for the 2025 drivers' title. The team from Milton Keynes is already making headlines after parting ways with longtime team principal Christian Horner and appointing Racing Bull's Laurent Mekies as his replacement. With Verstappen trailing championship leader Oscar Piastri by 69 points and rumours swirling about a potential move to Mercedes, Red Bull is pulling out all the stops. Marko revealed that updates will roll out not only in Belgium, but also at the Hungarian Grand Prix, suggesting these tweaks could be make or break in Verstappen's quest to claw his way back into title contention. There are still 332 points up for grabs, which is a substantial package. We hope the updates we make in Spa and Budapest will be effective. Commenting on the sprint weekend format of the Belgian Grand Prix, Helmut Marko remarked, "On the one hand, there are more points to be gained, but on the other hand, 2 free practice sessions are cancelled. So we can't afford a disastrous Friday, after which we still have to try to get the car into the right tyre temperature window. Everything has to be right from the start." Red Bull is banking on their Spa upgrades, not only to boost performance, but also to reinforce Max Verstappen's confidence in the team. When Austrian media pressed Helmut Marko on whether Verstappen should abandon hope for the 2025 title if the upcoming upgrade package fails to deliver, the Red Bull advisor responded, "You have to assume that. Red Bull won't be alone in bringing fresh upgrades to Spa. Ferrari is also stepping up with a revamped rear suspension, recently tested at Mugello. The aim? To reignite their pace heading into the second half of the season. But after the test run, Charles Leclerc confessed he could barely feel a performance difference. With just one practice session before qualifying kicks off in the sprint weekend format, both Ferrari and Red Bull face a high-stakes challenge at the Belgian Grand Prix. Every lap will count. The speculation surrounding Max Verstappen shows no signs of slowing down, even after Red Bull replaced Christian Horner as team principal. According to senior advisor Helmut Marko, Verstappen was fully aware that Horner's exit was on the horizon, a claim also backed by his manager Raymond Vermeulen. Speaking with Austrian outlet OE24, Marko was quick to shut down further discussion on Horner's departure. But when asked directly whether Verstappen knew in advance about the decision, he simply replied, "Max was aware. I do not want to say anything more about it." For the first time, Helmut Marko, though clearly hesitant, acknowledged how Max Verstappen was informed about Christian Horner's dismissal. According to Bild, Marko not only played a role in the decision, but was also present during the moment Horner was officially let go. Reports also suggest Horner had been stripped of his marketing responsibilities with the sister team Racing Bulls prior to his exit. Tensions were further amplified when both Verstappen and Red Bull shareholder Chalem Uvidia noticeably skipped a high-profile event hosted at Horner's estate. While Verstappen remains under contract until 2028, that's no guarantee he'll stick around. Rumors of a move to Mercedes continue to swirl, especially after he and Mercedes boss Toto Wolff were spotted vacationing in Sardinia at the same time. Marko, for his part, made it clear, Verstappen is free to speak with whomever he chooses. Max can meet with whomever he wants. We have a valid contract, and we assume that he stays with us. While internal tensions continue to simmer at Red Bull, the rest of the paddock is beginning to weigh in on the fallout. McLaren Racing CEO Zak Brown remarked that the only real surprise surrounding Christian Horner's departure was when it happened. Horner, who had led Red Bull Racing for 2 decades, was officially dismissed from his role 2 weeks ago, bringing an abrupt end to one of the longest tenures in F1 team leadership. The announcement sent shockwaves through the F1 world, but it followed a noticeable dip in Red Bull's performance. Meanwhile, McLaren has surged to the front, now leading both the Constructors' and Drivers' Championships this season. When asked by TSN whether the decision caught him off guard, Zak Brown responded, "Maybe the timing, but not the result. There has been a lot of drama there over the last couple of years, so it doesn't seem like that drama has been calming down. Maybe it's been getting worse. So, I'm not surprised, any time in the middle of the season. But we're head down on our championship. They've got Max Verstappen still knocking on the door, so we've got to pay attention to that. But yeah, tremendous amount of success they've had. Horner's exit comes exactly a year after he retained his position, despite being the subject of an internal misconduct investigation involving a former Red Bull Racing employee. That controversy laid bare deep divisions within the organization. Still, the official announcement of his dismissal included a parting message from Oliver Mintzlaff, Red Bull's CEO of corporate projects and new investments, thanking Horner for his contributions. Beyond a leaked video of his farewell speech and a brief statement on social media, Horner has remained silent about his departure and what lies ahead. Zak Brown, who's long had a tense rivalry with the former Red Bull boss, believes that if Horner chooses to stay in the sport, there will be a seat waiting for him somewhere in Formula One. Given his age and his history in motor racing, I'd be surprised if he didn't show up somewhere in motor racing, Brown added. But I don't know his other interests, whether he wants to go run a football team or what have you. So, we'll see. As the dust settles around Horner's departure, attention is also turning to those who've recently exited Red Bull and are now thriving elsewhere. Jonathan Wheatley, now team principal at Sauber, admitted he was taken aback by one of the most striking stats to emerge from the first half of the F1 season. Since joining the team in May, after nearly 2 decades at Red Bull, most recently as sporting director, Wheatley has overseen a dramatic turnaround. Sauber, currently competing under the Stake banner before transitioning into Audi F1, has gone from finishing dead last in the constructors' standings to climbing to 6th, just 18 points shy of Williams for 5th. One statistic in particular has caught everyone's attention. Nico Hülkenberg has racked up 31 points in the last 4 races alone. In contrast, Red Bull's second-seat drivers, Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, have combined for just 7 points this season. Over the past 22 races, stretching back to last year's Dutch Grand Prix with Sergio Perez in the car, that number only climbs to 28. It's been a standout year for Wheatley, not just due to his new role, but the sharp contrast in performance compared to his former team. I would never have believed it possible. I know the quality of that operation. I know the talent of the people who are there. It's interesting that when you leave one team for another, even a team competing for world championships and coming to a team aspiring to compete for world championships, there are things done better there and things done better here. That's the fascinating thing with this sport. There is so much talent in it. Verstappen's future, Horner's exit, and Red Bull's unraveling. This season is rewriting the F1 script. Will the upgrades turn the tide? Hit like, drop your take in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more F1 shakeups.